Hey guys, Scott and Nate from PlayYourCourt.com, and today we're going to show you how to hit a rocket serve like Nick Kyrgios. All right guys, Nick Kyrgios, big topic in the news these days, and outside of his antics and all of the other things that surround him, we've got to address the biggest weapon, one of the biggest weapons we see even on tour, Nick Kyrgios' serve. Today, this video is for players with a player court rating of 80 and up. If you're not in our community or familiar with our rating system, it really hurts our feelings, so click the link below and join to check it out.
Please.
But if you don't know already, a player court 80 is the equivalent of about a USTA 4.5 and up, so this is for high-level players. Nick Kyrgios.
Yeah, man, the guy's
Talk
a
to me.
force to be reckoned with, whether you love him or hate him.
Force to be reckoned with if he tries and
If he shows up. Yeah. Let's put his antics aside, because I know there's going to be people that think, like, why are you even talking about this guy? He's not good for the game. That point is neither here nor there. Like, yes, tanking.
I don't care what you think about Nick Kyrgios. His serve is probably better than yours and mine and Nate's and most players in the world.
It's one of the best serves in the world, and it's unique. And it actually falls under something that we've talked about in the past, using the load and explode method. And he also, as we've discussed, uses the ritual that we see most of the pros use that we're also going to cover. But which is asking someone in the stands where you should serve on match point, like at the City Open in the finals. It's as of late in Acapulco. Yeah, that's been the move lately.
That's not the ritual we're teaching today.
But yeah, so we're gonna really dive into this. We've got a friend here out here to help us, and we're gonna jump into these mechanics that may improve your serve as well by implementing them. We'll take a look at that now. All right, guys, so I've got Connor Summers, a Division I player at Notre Dame, and we've been working on his serve a little bit, and he's been using kind of a traditional method, holding the trophy stance, and we've started incorporating a little bit of this load and explode. We'll put the link in the video, and this is really what we're focusing on with Nick Kyrgios' serve. There's a couple other things that work with the mechanics. We'll go through that now. But then what we're going to do is we're going to show you kind of the difference on this flat serve of what's happening with the load and explode and the traditional holding the trophy stance. All right, so the first thing that we want to talk about, again, the rituals that all the pros use when Connor lines up for his serve, when he goes through the ball bounce. All right, he doesn't have a ball, but as if he did, you're going to notice his back heel is up. Okay, and this is important because in Kyrgios' serve, what you're going to notice is he has this like really exaggerated racket rock. So he's immediately starting with this tempo. He freezes here, all right, and as this weight shifts and he goes back to his back foot, man, this thing is off and moving, and the momentum just works all the way through. And this is the key. This momentum where it builds up and it never stops. It just keeps moving and building up speed. Allows them to get a lot of power that holding the trophy stance robs us of. Okay, so this part is really important. Like, we could talk about the external rotation that Nick has, like just this superhuman rotator cuff, the quick twitch, the elasticity in his wrist, but a lot of the pros have that, right? And that's why they're pros. But this method of serving really allows him to get into some incredible timing and tempo to hit these rocket serves. Okay, all right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to jump into it. We'll show the serve that Connor's had, right? And it's a great serve. It's a Division I serve, and what he's been working on with this load and explode, really working, getting to the ball and hitting through it faster. We'll take a look at that now. So much more of an exaggeration there. And if you can just keep running through him, Connor, he's really pausing, and this is fun. For some people, this is great. I mean, Delpo holds it for a long, long time. Fed to some degree, not quite as much, but Fed to some degree holds it as well. All right, and this is something that you may want to do on a kick serve, right? On a ball that you need a little bit more time, the kick serve, you're not quite as getting as far out on the serve, so it makes a little bit more sense. All right, so now what Connor's going to focus on is keeping it moving throughout the serve. All right, because what's going to happen is this gravity, it's going to build momentum, and therefore it's going to build energy. The second thing that it's going to do is, and this is something that we've got to touch on with Kyrgios, his ability to get into the court. I mean, the guy gets way into the court. All right, so one, he's taking that strike and really getting through it, delivering that energy, but he's also taking time away from his opponent. So typically where Kyrgios, Connor, if you'll take 2 steps into the court, if Kyrgios lands here, imagine that's almost 4 feet into the court, 3 or 4 feet. What does 3 to 4 feet look like when you take that time away from the opponent? All right, so another key element to Kyrgios' serve. So Connor, using that load and explode, remember in another video we talked about if you can kind of get that cadence of load and explode and really go, don't hold it, you're going to be able to find that you put some MPH on that serve. So let's take a look at that now.
All right, guys, and looking at that, there's one thing I really want to address, and I think I'm going to get some debate here, but in my personal opinion, it's always made no sense to me to have a service motion where you all of a sudden stop completely in the trophy pose. To me, all of this energy up until the trophy pose is wasted, and if I'm just standing stationary to start, I would get the same energy. I understand, obviously, slowing down to find that rhythm, but I want to take advantage of this momentum of my racket moving, my hips, my shoulders, everything building into a bigger stroke. And in my opinion, that's why Kyrgios' serve is so big. Thoughts?
Yeah, guys, I mean, gravity, momentum equal energy. Things in motion tend to stay in motion, right? They pick up speed. When you're really constricting a muscle and you're getting things to stop, right? You've lost that momentum. And so, slowing down, as Scott said, slowing down the serve, that's not necessarily the issue. We see that with Delpo and we see that with Federer. We're talking about that hold, all right? And I guess Delpo does hold to some degree, but
yeah, and if you're a
6'7",
superhuman like Delpo and you're 6'7".
Big boy. Yeah, definitely a big boy. All right, so guys, what are we focusing on here? Keeping the serve moving, because not only does it create this momentum, all right, it's also really difficult for your opponent to read. All right, think about the time it takes when you're here, the ability for the opponent to start watching the racket face, watching the ball toss. It gives them time. That delivery is so fast, it's really difficult to pick up the direction.
That can't be understated either, too, because I think about my favorite player is Delpo. The thing that I hate the most about his game is that toss hangs in the air forever, and he's in this trophy stance for a pretty good amount of time. And if he didn't hit the ball so freaking big, it would be pretty easy to read his serve as compared to somebody like Nick Kyrgios.
So let Delpo know that you don't like his toss.
I still love you, Delpo.
He doesn't care. You could care less. So guys, takeaway, all right, load and explode. What we talked about is getting into that cadence of working up to that serve. There's a whole lot of other actionables, all right? We could talk about the pinpoint stance. Connor did platform. It doesn't really matter, right? We want things for you to be able to take home and put into action immediately. The one point that we kind of glazed over was the ritual, and I think this is important. When Kyrgios, right, the ritual of the back toe up when he's going through the bounce, all right, and then the rocking.
The back heel up,
The back heel up, yeah, sorry. So when he's going through that rocking and he builds momentum here, this is really important. It builds the whole machine that gets him going. And I think finally the thing that we didn't touch a ton on, but at controlling that left side, you'll see him and team do a phenomenal job when they hit of controlling, making sure they don't over-rotate by getting that left arm out, all right? So just a couple points to focus on, but definitely not holding in that trophy stance. I think that's where you start, and from there you start examining some of the other little pieces of it.
For sure. Guys, we hope this helped. Admittedly, this is for a higher level player. If you're a 3-0 or a 3-5 out there watching this video right now, please don't try and implement any of this. In fact, do us a favor instead, click the button or the link below, answer some questions for Nate and I so we know exactly what your skill level is, and then we can help you with the specific things you need to work on with your serve. If you're higher level, great, implement some of this stuff. But hopefully we'll see you inside the community one way or the other so we can give you the custom video coaching that you need for your game. We'll see you guys soon.